So recently, a pile of pathetic protesters showed up outside the home of an oil pipeline executive as payback for an arrest of some other pathetic protesters that he knew nothing about. So put yourself in his shoes. You're home with your spouse and your family. The doorbell rings at 10 p.m. And at your doorstep are these sniveling creeps.
Hi, my name is Amanda. My friends and I came down tonight to let you know that we think that you and Enbridge are corporate criminals and that it's y'all that should be in jail rather than the MyCat 3.
What's the 3 women? What did they do?
They shut down your pipeline construction.
They did a lockdown on one of your pieces of equipment, and now they're facing 2 to 3 years in prison.
Listen, again, 10 o'clock at night, I'm happy to discuss it. Not here, not now. I'm not in the neighborhood now.
You think you could just go to work and punch in and poison people, then come home and distance yourself like it never happened, like you don't have to be accountable to anyone you live with, that your neighbors shouldn't know that you are destroying your children's future and their children's future?
This is not the time and place. What's your group, by the way, guys?
We're just the people, man. How about that?
The people.
And they're
We're
all
the faces of the
us.
people. You have no idea, man. The world is spinning quick.
Well,
Tell the rest of the board they can expect visits.
The world is spinning. They're robots. Anyway, but wacky threats from ecomaniacs. Wow. It's nothing new. Lucky for them, their goals are sanctioned by the media academic complex, who never seem to mind extremism if it serves their faculty lounge assumptions. Crazy always gets a pass as long as it's progressive. But the Tea Party, now those are the extremists. Those tricorn hats could take out an eye. You could get food poisoning from their potato salad. Yep, as the media maggots paint conservatives as extreme, they turn a blind eye to the mutants in their midst, who actually show up at people's houses with torches and masks. Look at these fools. It's like the Olympics for losers. Yeah. Look, it's no surprise the left creates more bombers than Lockheed, for the romantic notions of violence gives them a wide berth. It's why a Tea Partier will never get tenure, but a terrorist will. So how will President Obama respond to such allies? Who knows? He takes credit for the oil boom while condemning actual oil. The guy flips more often than a spatula. But maybe he's scared. Even the president knows that when it comes to crazies, his side is way nuttier than elephant poop. All right, Bob.
It smells like that over here.
All right, Bob. Imagine if that was you're in your house in Maryland, right?
Yes, yes.
Doorbell rings at 10 o'clock. Yes. There's a group of, this will never happen in a million years, but a group of conservatives, angry conservatives, young Republicans on your lawn wearing little bandanas. What would you do?
Well, first thing I'd do is be sure and let a show on Fox, is what I'd say. And number one, this should have been a breaking news story. It was a big enough story to be breaking news. The video was compelling. And I will say this, it must be just horribly frightening for those people to listen to that little girl say, you're ruining the environment. And I'll tell you what I'd do. I'd get out Eric's Uzi and I'd shoot him.
Well, but one of them, that was a boy, too.
Man,
that sounded like a girl.
We have lots of people, man. The world is spinning.
The world is spinning, man.
We're the people.
Understand who we are.
Eric, if you turned on the sprinkler, they would sue you for emotional pain.
And the New York Times would pick that up.
Yes.
The guy in the house turned on the sprinkler on the kids. Okay, so the eco-terrorists go to the guy's house, they knock on the door, and they say, we're mad at you, you're a corporate criminal.
Right.
For what?
Yeah.
Well, you got these people arrested. What did they do? Well, the people, the eco-terrorists, shut down Enbridge's pipeline and their system.
By handcuffing themselves.
Right, so who's the criminal?
Yeah.
They're breaking the law, not this poor guy probably hanging out at his home, watching TV with his family, watching the 5 or something. The doorbell rings and he gets terrorized.
That's terrible. I mean, they're the terrorists, the domestic terrorists. And I can't believe, by the way, how polite and courteous he was, because people know now everyone's videotaping everybody and they're trying to have that aha moment and everyone watch it on YouTube, and then he'll get in trouble at his company. But it's so offensive to me that they would go to his house at night like that and knock on his door. I mean, let me tell you, they would not get that kind of response from me.
I would hate to see what you would do.
I've had it happen. They burned a couch in front of my house in San Francisco because Gavin did care, not cash. Like, it went psycho. I'm turning the hose. So I got the hose on. I mean, that probably didn't help the marriage. He was like, invite him in to stay. I'm like, what?
No. Let's burn their couch.
Yeah.
Dana, can I show you another SOT?
Yes.
It's sound on tape. This is a protester complaining about how, I guess, the pipeline is polluting and hurting his life personally.
Every day I have to wake up and do yoga and exercise, whether I want to or not. Why? Just to make sure those chemicals don't stay in my body. It's the only way I can combat it. I can't find any nutritious food around there. I can't grow any food around there. You know what happens to the food that grows around there?
George, you know, and I don't know what to tell you about that. I think your facts are off.
Two things, Dana. We finally found out something positive about yoga. And also, he's still so polite to this guy.
That's what I was just thinking, is that earlier this week we had the story of the AOL CEO who said the ridiculous thing about that made all the employees mad about the distressed babies, and that's why the health care had gone up. This CEO is actually polite to people who show up on his lawn. Rather than just calling the cops, he actually goes outside. I would not have gone outside.
Yeah.
They could have had weapons, or they could have been on drugs, or whatever.
I'll call the cops.
Probably were.
But if this were a Hollywood celebrity, and if it was conservatives complaining, this would have led the New York Times. But instead, he's so civil.
Yeah.
He's so polite.
He's amazing.
Are we missing the lead here? What were they trying to accomplish? So they go to a corporate CEO's office and says,
I'm really getting ahead.
Who's probably a tens of billions of dollar company, and he's the CEO, and 7 people show up and go, hey, stop doing what you're doing. Yeah. I mean, other than, like Kimberly said, or maybe Dana said, they have a cell phone and they're trying to get play on the networks. They weren't going to elicit any change.
But it did work, because we are leading with it. And it is.
But you can't see them. They're like little moth lights.
They should have thrown eggs like Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
And then they would have received more attention.
Please. We're almost 7 minutes into this.
Well, Bob,
show.
let me ask you this.
We're not taking this seriously.
Bob, no, I'm going to.
These are people's constitutional right to complain.
No, okay.
On someone's
I just
front
asked
lawn?
you, what would you do if somebody came to your house and did this?
I had skinheads come to my house one night.
Really? What did you do?
I beat them up.
Oh, so you're saying you should beat them up?
No, I don't think you should beat them up.
Point.
When did skinheads come to your house? What year was this?
Yeah, they don't have a constitutional right to go to his door and pull the guy out of the house or have him come out.
Did they pull him out?
No, but they're on his property.
The point is, he can say, you're trespassing, get off my property, I'm going to call the cops, and I would let him get a record for it.
Bob, here's the thing.
Appropriate.
You think this is silly.
Protest at the business.
You have to admit that is a stereotype that does not help your cause, correct?
First of all, if I could just say, and you're open, it was the faculty lounge again. Now, we visited the faculty lounge about 3,000 times in your monologues. It is the faculty lounge with those liberal commies that teach these people to go to people's houses, and it's very naughty. And it represents all the lefts who are doing that. Come on, are you kidding me?
Well, what is President?
These people are a little bit wacko. I grant you that. It would be a story if they put a spike, as they've often done, in trees and people get hurt.
Now,
then I can understand.
Who did that, though, Bob? The left does that. The left always uses terror or hate words, hate language, going to people's houses because their ideas are for the greater good. As long as it's for the environment, you can put a stake in a tree.
That's the thing. They justify it that way.
I don't put justify.
You just brought it up.
Show. No, I wouldn't put a stake.
So Bob, is it okay if some pro XL pipeline people show up at Al Gore's doorstep and start ringing on his doorbell?
Why not?
You think
I'm going to go
houseboat.
What if a bunch of people from New York went to complain about the weather on Al Gore's doorstep? Would that get news?
Are we going?
Where is that going?
To complain about global warming.
Okay.
Or the lack thereof.
Okay, there's only 30 seconds left here, so why doesn't somebody else take this who's taking it seriously?
I am taking it seriously.
I know
you're not.
My point is, there's very little tolerance for people like this, especially since Occupy Dirty Wall Street. It's a disgrace. So now this looks like a joke. They're making like a mockery even of what they're attempting to do.
But you have to say, I mean, bless their hearts.
Let them go to the corporate building and protest and go wacko out there, not someone's house.
They shouldn't have stepped on his lawn, gone up to his door.
They should have.
But they have every right in the world to protest, as the Tea Party
I didn't say they didn't.
The guys that you used to make fun of brutally, the Tea Party. Remember, you called them wingnuts.
Right. It has to be a time, place.
I think a lot of more wingnuts.
But they don't do this, Bob.
Appropriateness.
They don't do this. That's my point.
How do we know that?
They have never done this. There is no evidence of them showing up at somebody's house and harassing them.
If they had showed up, yeah, exactly. If they had showed up on a Democrat's house, believe me,
you know why you would know it, because if that had happened, it would be on the New York Times, MSNBC. It would be everywhere.
You know where it wouldn't be right here.
Oh, yes, it would, because you do it as a one more thing, so we can argue about it.
All right.
All right. When we come back.